Sponsored by Raid.
They did say hamsters are like escape artists.
Why? Why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me?
Hey cutie, so this is like the first basic twerk move.
Today we'll talk about 10 more of the worst and most disgusting banned YouTubers. The previous episode has been received quite well, thank you a lot for watching. Like in the previous episode, there will be some better known YouTubers in this list, but some are rather unknown, some of which I have never heard of myself before. I also want to say that for pretty much every YouTuber in this list, I use Wikitubia to get my info from, since all of these channels are banned, and it was sometimes very difficult to research them outside of Wikitubia. But before any of that, guys, once again, it's finally time to become a real YouTuber, since this video is brought to you by everyone's favorite game, Raid Shadow Legends, today's sponsor. Let me tell you about their amazing and tough bosses like the Hydra, with multiple different heads. Each one is a complete boss battle on its own. One of the heads is called the Head of Suffering. As the name already suggests, its main goal is to make you suffer with a new effect called Pain Link. This will split the damage it takes with you. So the more you hurt it, the more you're going to suffer as well. Another is the Head of Blight. This one is pretty nasty, since it will poison and leech your team, while it protects its own. It also can create a poison cloud, making it very obnoxious to deal with, since landing attacks and debuffs will become very difficult. He's pretty weak to fire, so burning him down as quick as possible is the way to go. Raid also has a new champion for new players, Stay Night, which was even designed by Jontron. Use the code JTSKIN before October 7 to get it completely for free. If you're not new, you can still get the skin through an in-game event. There's one more, the legendary champion Wukong. Just log in on 7 different days between now and October 23rd to get your hands on him. With all of this very exciting stuff and more coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing yet, then what are you waiting for? Use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses. We're talking an epic champion Drake from the Lizardman faction, and other useful things such as energy refills, skill tome and XP booster. You can find me in game under the name Eudoxia, and if you're fast enough you can join my clan. So just hit my link in the description and I'll see you on the battlefield. Leighton Allen LeBoot, or better known as Dollyflesh Online, was mostly uploading clay animations. These weren't your usual animations though, his content was very disturbing. It feels like he was projecting his own fantasies in those videos, most of which I'm not even sure I can show. You could make the argument that one doesn't necessarily need to be a psychopath to make these videos, and while this might be true in some cases, this definitely isn't the case with Dollyflesh. He had a Twitter and Instagram, the latter has been taken down. There he would often post stuff which raised a couple of red flags. Quote, "When I was 12, I remember having an obsession of wanting to be R-worded by a hot girl. I remember looking at the cover of Britney Spears in a dress and black hair and would tell lots of others I wish she could do that to me." Without context, this still isn't anything too definitive, so it was somewhat easy to write off as an edgy tweet for attention. He eventually made a Twitter post contemplating on buying a hamster. He would later upload a video to YouTube playing with those hamsters.
So, I recently purchased some hamsters from PetSmart. Sorry. I got 3 of them. I haven't thought of names yet.
On the very next day, he would upload a video taking the life of these animals in a very brutal manner. While the video was taken down almost instantly, people still have very detailed descriptions of what happened in that video. The description of the video allegedly read, pin stabbed, drowned, microwaved. Around 10 days later, he would get arrested, but would later be released after paying a $1,000 bail. After seeing this, some of the residents, even his own neighbors, protested outside the Kelowna law courts. A year later, his trial took place, where he was put under an 18-month conditional sentence and 4 to 5 years of supervision. When police asked him why he did it, he said he was, quote, bored and entertained by it. Obviously no remorse in sight. Even worse is that he told one of his friends at school that he was planning on taking everyone's life in his class because the girls kept on rejecting him. He created multiple plans like poisoning the water fountains or putting mustard gas in the vents. His big idols were people like Tsutomu Miyazaki, which a lot of you should be familiar with. His main channel was terminated, and the last update regarding this case was from 2021. I could spend hours just talking about this YouTuber here, but I will try to trim it down as much as possible. Shannon, known as Creepshowart, was a YouTuber known for commentary, art, and storytime videos. She was exposed quite heavily later on. Shannon was homeless and lived with her husband in a van for multiple years, and even recorded some of her early videos in there.
Last week I made a video about how I used to have a series on my channel where I talked about tips and tricks I learned while homeless and how I made 2 episodes of that series before stopping altogether.
There were multiple things that Shannon did, such as spreading misinformation on people and accusing them of horrendous things, without actually having any evidence for her claims. There were very absurd things she did on a platform named Lolcow. Lolcow, from my understanding, is a person that is being made fun of on the internet, who doesn't actually know that they are being made fun of. There is a fully dedicated platform for this under the same name. Shannon was a very frequent participant on this platform. The admin of the website decided to de-anonymize her, compiling all of her posts and making a full post history that is still visible to date. Looking at her posts, it obviously looks very strange. She speaks about herself in third person all the time. She would also use a lot of derogatory slurs against all kinds of people, even though she publicly condemned and accused others of doing the same prior to this being exposed, which obviously is very hypocritical. She would also gossip about other people like the YouTuber Hopeless Peaches. Shannon decided to address all of this in a community post on YouTube, claiming that it was not her posting all of this on Lolcow, but instead a crazy stalker who spoofed her IP address, pretending to be her. In the end, people debunked this, saying that she lied and that it was indeed her on Lolcow. And more ironically, while she claims to have been stalked, she and her husband were stalking a different YouTuber named Emily Artful, who made a full 2-hour-long video on this.
Shannon, you need help, and this is me and everyone else asking you to go get help. Not just for yourself, but for the people that you have hurt. You need to take that long, hard look in the mirror like I did and see the ugly, broken pieces.
Shannon was making multiple accounts LARPing as Emily to frame her and ruin her reputation, even creating accounts LARPing as her viewers, and creating fake interactions to further frame her of stuff. It's actually so elaborate and so much worse than what I described that I can only recommend checking out the full video if you're interested. I definitely can't go into detail because it's too much. Though after this, Shannon decided to make a reply video, which is also 2 hours long. While this video's intention seemingly was to debunk Emily's claims, she only further proved her right by showing that she was indeed stalking her. Everyone was disliking the video and calling her out for it. She basically ended all of it by making a statement saying that she would leave YouTube. Around April this year, her channel was terminated for copyright infringement. I left out a lot on purpose, so if you really want to get the full story, have fun going through multiple hours of videos, it's actually that deep. Marcus Sean Dibble, or better known by his YouTube name Dibble, was an Australian YouTuber who mostly made call-out, rants, and comedy videos. His call-outs consisted of exposing YouTubers like Ricegum, Lil Tay, Prank Invasion, and Jake and Logan Paul to make them respond to his videos. He was pretty successful, amassing hundreds of thousands of subs. To be fair, it wasn't really difficult to make good points against these people, so it made sense that he looked pretty smart in comparison. However, Dibble is very controversial himself. The first bigger controversy was him making fun of someone named Percy Inglis, who endured 5 years of constant harassment by Dibble's fans. Dibble was mostly making fun of him, creating memes, etc. This harassment then quickly took over Percy's real life, where he would get beaten up in school. Keep in mind that Percy was a teenager during all of this. Consequently, Percy began to work on himself. He practiced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, becoming a 2-time Australian BJJ champion. Though once the pandemic hit, he decided to off himself, which many have attributed to Dibble's online output and made him responsible for it. Dibble, out of what seems like pure desperation, tried to twist the narrative by stating that he and Percy were actually friends and that he was in contact with his family. Percy's family has denied those claims. Afterwards, Dibble has removed his videos where he mentioned Percy, but later reinstated them again, only for YouTube to later terminate his channel. So the videos are now gone again, which brings us to the worst point in his YouTube career. On the 5th of July 2021, Dibble pleaded guilty to multiple charges of grooming a 16-year-old and producing as well as distributing CP. At the time of the crime, the girl was 3 years younger. In the end, he got a $5,000 fine and 18 months of community service and has to register as an offender for 15 years, which seems to be on the very low end considering the severity of the entire thing, and many have spoken out about it, but the sentences remain to this date. All of his social media channels were banned after the sentencing. In the following, we will talk about 3 channels that were terminated since they all were connected. SMNI News was a Philippine far-right, religious free-to-air news television network based in Makati City. They also had a YouTube channel under the same name. SMNI News was founded by Apollo Caron Quiboloy, who was the church leader of the Philippines-based restorationist church called the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, or short KJC. KJC claims to have 6 million followers. SMNI News itself had over 1.7 million subs on YouTube before it got terminated. The reason for the termination is actually extremely severe. In December 2022, the US Treasury announced sanctions against Quiboloy. They accused him of using his position to R-word and traffic multiple women and girls in his congregation for more than 10 years. The girls were as young as 11 and 12 years old, and the entire procedure was highly systematic. He promised those girls and women privileges and told them they would be avoiding eternal damnation. Consequently, he was sued for keeping them against their will and brainwashing them. There are actually a lot more allegations surrounding him, like him orchestrating the assassination of people for not selling their land to him and his sect, but these claims don't seem to be proven yet. Quiboloy also saw himself as, quote, the appointed son of God and the owner of the universe.
Prove to me that you are a son of God!
When he announced that God had appointed him Christ on earth, sinful thoughts, anger, lust, any of those things, you don't experience those on a daily basis?
As a human being?
Yes.
I have already overcome all of those.
Some ordinary gamers made a video about this entire ordeal and also got Quiboloy's personal channel terminated. Google also said the following in a statement to reporters, quote, after review and consistent with these policies, we terminate the Laban Kasama Ang Bayan, KOJC and SMNI YouTube channels. All of these channels were deleted just recently in June and July of 2023.
I've recently come under some fire on social media for mistakes I've made in the past. I used to ask fans for twerking videos. Yes, twerking the dance move. It's not something that I'm proud of. It's not something that I think is right. And I shouldn't have done it.
This is one of the better known cases, so I'll try to keep it short. Austin Henry Jones, better known as Ozdude Pro, was mostly doing music content on YouTube. He sent explicit materials to his own underage fans and was found guilty in 2019 and is serving 10 years in prison. Before we get into the more disgusting part, let's quickly talk about his career, since he actually was quite successful, having over 500,000 subs, which was way more in relation to other YouTubers back then. He would also go on numerous music tours. In 2010, he released his first album called Out of Character. The music he produced for his videos were mostly rock or punk. He also did covers of other songs of artists like 21 Pilots, Justin Bieber, and Fall Out Boy. He would also do vlogs talking about his life and thoughts, though this didn't seem to be his main content. He would also upload short skits on YouTube and Vine, if anyone still remembers that. This brings us to the main reason why this guy is featured in this video. A website named Baka Prase reported that Austin would text many of his fans, asking them for explicit material, even making a tutorial video for them on how to twerk. No joke.
Hey cutie, so this is like the first basic twerk move. So this is what you do.
I won't show the full thing here, but he goes on to demonstrate what he wants the girls to do, which was just a tad bit creepy. He was actually successful in his attempt to receive materials from them, and when all of this came out, he reached out, begging them to not expose him, because it would tarnish his public reputation. So obviously there was no guilt. Afterwards, he would upload an apology type video where he would admit to most things being true. He also said that he would try to improve himself and that he was in a dark place, so the usual stuff. Some of his fans actually bought it and were forgiving him, while the other half wanted further actions to be taken. In 2017, he was arrested at an airport. He was released shortly after, paying a bond of $100,000. He would be put under house arrest during this time. This prompted many users on the internet to making more videos on him, resulting in his apology video getting mass disliked. While YouTube initially argued that they wouldn't be deleting his channel because nothing on the channel violated the YouTube guidelines, they decided to eventually give back in and terminate him. Shortly after, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison and will be released in 2027. Amos Yee was a Singaporean YouTuber, uploading comedic sketches, but he was also very deranged. In multiple instances, he was defaming religion. Him disrespecting Islam got him charged multiple times, in one instance leading to 6 weeks in prison. Some called him a free speech activist, but people will later realize that he was a diagnosed narcissist, seeking and loving the attention that he was getting. He would later make videos defending the idea of adults sleeping with children as long as the children consent. He would get terminated off of YouTube after this. Everyone was dropping and cutting ties with him, leading to him being homeless and begging to stay in houses in exchange for money. But he would eventually find a place to rent. After this, there was a Twitter account that leaked interactions between him and a 14-year-old, exchanging very explicit material. While Amos has denied the authenticity of this, he was charged and took a plea deal to get 6 years in prison. He'll be free in 2026 and looks vastly different from before.
I hate TikTok! The amount of unoriginality that goes into the site every day!
Fredflintstone.jpg, real name Alberto, is a 20-year-old YouTuber and was mostly known for his comedy and prank videos. There is a small backlog of archived videos, but I don't see anything too interesting except a livestream where he has a mental breakdown. Trolls made racist memes, falsely crediting him by putting his username as a watermark on the meme.
I'm not racist! I'm not racist! I'm not racist! Why? Why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me?
Well, this was one of the most infamous videos or live streams he made. Worse things started to leak. He had a private IG account, which only a select few had access to. He had a lot of trust in this process of not everyone being able to see what he would post. He therefore decided to upload a lot of kinky content. One was sheep girls. After this got leaked, many more girls came forward and claimed that he was convincing those girls to participate and roleplay with them, some even claiming that he was abusing them. Alberto apparently didn't deny those allegations, even making a video titled, "I'm a terrible person and here's why," allegedly confirming every claim. Well, I couldn't find this video to confirm this myself, and there are multiple sources claiming this. In the next part, it will get a bit more extreme, but the information seems to be inaccurate or at least not traceable, so take everything with a grain of salt. Additionally, there was a case where Alberto shared an explicit image of a teen with one of his friends, which he also decided to upload to his Insta and Twitter page in private groups. Once those got leaked, he told people to respect his privacy instead of apologizing. It now starts to get very irritating, and I honestly don't fully understand what went down, since most of the info has been wiped off the internet. According to Wikipedia, the friends contacted police to report Alberto, and while the police was allegedly responsive at first and was investigating it, they dropped the case for no apparent reason. The information is very contradictory, so I have no idea what went down, but he was never charged from the looks of it. He also apparently was getting doxxed by people who hacked him, and he also tried to have a comeback under the name AI, the hippie dude, but I couldn't find any evidence on this. Kai Gallagher, better known under Foodistzen, was a YouTube troll known for making pretty deranged content, like mocking the passing of recently deceased celebrities. He would basically do anything for clout. He made a video where he said that the passing of Ricegum's baby was deserved, and that it is now in hell.
Yo, what is up guys? This is Foodistzen. Today we're explaining why Ricegum's baby deserved it. Ricegum's baby deserved to get sacrificed to the ball because I make better videos.
Ricegum is obviously a big YouTuber himself, so this was a very tasteless attempt to use his name for attention. In a different video, he was trying to call Technoblade at 3 AM.
Oh, what is up guys? This is Foodistzen. Today we're going to be calling
Technoblade at 3 a.m. He has sadly passed away. This is just so awful. The trolls are harassing Technoblade. That's just such a terrible thing to do. Like, why would you harass a dead person? But we're gonna be calling him at 3 a.m. This is gonna be so crazy.
Technoblade was a YouTuber that passed away a few months ago. Technoblade is also a YouTuber with a massive audience. That's obviously why he chose him to make a video on. He made numerous other videos on, for instance, the passing of Jacksepticeye's dad or Snoop Dogg's mother. Again, mocking them. There's really not much more to say about this guy, it's just super edgy content. A lot of his channels have been removed from the looks of it, and he seems to have quit. Though there is one channel with the exact same name that still exists, but it also is inactive. Christopher Pezet is an American YouTuber known for trolling videos and spamming the comment sections of YouTubers. He made numerous rant videos in which he claimed that most content creators are bad. He explained to his viewers that some are controversial, talked about their contents, made fun of their personalities and their appearances, and so on. Though he himself was very controversial as well. He would make numerous videos on the passing of YouTubers or their relatives like Jacksepticeye's dad, Technoblade or George Floyd, and would celebrate them by dancing and laughing in his video, saying they all deserve to die. He would make videos such as eating Technoblade's remains, summoning Technoblade at 3 a.m, and calling Technoblade at 3 a.m. In other videos, it feels like he's hating on people just for the sake of hating, not because he actually hates them or has any valid points, like in this video titled Cory X Kenshin is Garbage.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to be exposing a YouTuber called Cory X Kenshin, and for a good reason too. So let's get started. The number one reason why I hate Cory Kenshin is because he always goes on these long breaks. Like, he doesn't even tell his fans that he's about to go on a break either, which pisses me off.
He would then go to Cory's comment sections to spam his video, which got him attention, but it was obviously negative. He would do the same with Mr. Beast, calling him a scammer, which resulted in him receiving hate from Mr. Beast fans. Strangely, some of his videos would be exact copies of other videos from, for instance, Foodistzen or I Am Kevin BB, both doing similar content. This was for a reason, since in one of his videos he would talk about how he wanted to be the most hated YouTuber, a goal which a different YouTuber named I Am Kevin BB tried to achieve. He would also do 3 a.m. videos titled Eating My Grandma's Ashes at 3 a.m. Gone Wrong, where he would just eat ramen, so it's obvious clickbaiting for views. He would later apologize for using Technoblade's passing for attention, but this didn't really seem sincere, since once Cyberwolf's sibling passed away, he would do the same stuff all over again. Subsequently, he would get raided by other YouTubers, and all of his channels were getting terminated, regardless of how many he created. So this guy's a Serbian YouTuber, known for his vlogs and music. He's sitting at over 2 million subs. While some of his channels were terminated, some were reinstated, and this guy's actually back on YouTube since the end of last year. I wasn't sure if I should take him into this list, but considering that some of his channels are still banned, and his main channel was also banned for a while, I thought it would still fit, especially because this guy is quite controversial. At one point, Baka was the most subscribed Balkan YouTuber, but eventually got surpassed by the likes of Umko. Most of his videos are the usual stuff, so nothing out of the ordinary, but then there is a huge list of controversies. Most are beefs between him and other YouTubers, which we'll skip, because most of you probably aren't really watching Serbian YouTubers. And from what I've seen, it's nothing too crazy. What's crazy though is him having intercourse with a 14 and 16-year-old. He claimed that he specifically asked both for IDs, and while one didn't want to show it, the other claimed to not even have one. He still had intercourse with them without knowing how old they are. There were also texts leaked, but Baka claims that these are fake. He lost his sponsors after all of this came out. He would even get attacked in real life with X as a reaction, and he quit YouTube for a total of 2 weeks before returning. Baka would also promote pyramid crypto schemes on his Instagram, saying that he invested money into this company called Qubit Tech, and that they were printing money for him while he didn't have to do anything, obviously encouraging his audience to also participate. This crypto scheme was later exposed on Reddit, but he seems to have gotten away with it. There was also a crazy feud between him and this guy. I won't even try to pronounce that name, but he founded the Pink Media Group, a mass media company in Serbia. He and Baka would go back and forth, and there were a lot of very wild accusations, such as that this guy had taken the life of his ex-wife and had given other people money to take the blame, or that his son drove over someone and he bribed the police so his son would get less of a sentence. Baka was accused in a documentary of the stuff that I already mentioned, and that he would harass people online and for fraud. Like I mentioned, some of Baka's channels were terminated, his main channel got reinstated, and he's still producing content to this date. Don't forget to use my Raid Shadow Legends link in the description, or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses for new players with an epic champion.